Pretty cool, huh? Feel relevant? Exciting? We're stoked. Now, let me just back up for a second. That's world-class compelling content. When I showed you these three pieces, right? Simple, short, compelling, shareable product marketing content. Did you see what just happened? Guys, there's 30 new social shareables. They're not made for us. They're made for you. You've never seen these before. They're all going to be live for you. In addition, what did I say right before they came out? We wanted to build product landing pages specifically designed to help a customer make an informed and confident decision to buy, right? You saw part of one. Let me make sure we're clear. There's 5 new product landing pages ready to go, and we're working on the others. As she scrolled down, and you could see, these are designed literally. We've had third parties look at these and say, these are designed with the top 1% of e-commerce psychology. They're designed with social proof. When you start telling someone that there's 10 million tubes of Renew or 31 million bottles of ASEA, redox cell signaling supplement, and they're going to tell you it's salt water, you're going to put that right in front of them. And you're going to say, we're either the best marketers in the world or they're wrong. Do you see the power of these? Now, one cool thing, I want to make sure you're clear on this. In addition to this, they went out and built for you a business op page. This business opportunity page is something you would share with a customer that you think should become an associate. It hits on changing lives. 350,000 associates, social proof and videos. We're a movement more than a product. It talks about our ASEA Advancing Life Foundation and what we do around the world to help causes. It talks about beautiful trips that we take around the world that they can earn, and ultimately a journey that they can ask questions about, ultimately to power their potential. Cool, huh? Okay, now you get to the bottom of Mount Everest and our third dimension. How on earth are we going to help you to share this? This is no small question. We nailed content, and we're just getting started with that. I will simply tease out the fact that if there's 30 hitting market today, in the next several months, you'll see that again. We're going to continue to push content out. But we needed to find a way to talk about an easy, seamless shopping experience. This is no small thing. I feel like I'm biased to this side of the room. I love you, but I'm going over to them. I'm coming. I'm Deion Sanders. We're coming. Thank you. When you think of a state of the art, I still love you. I love all of you. When you think of a state of the art delivery system, I mean, we sat back and said, okay, where are we today? What could we feasibly do? Now, a little bit of background. I don't want to put you to sleep, but we own the back office. We don't rent it. All of that code is ours. But I got to be honest, that code and the original intent of that tool was associate-centered. It's not the easiest tool. It can be done and will be done. We're going to continue to invest in both tools, but we couldn't really meet the customer need quickly. Now, let me show you what we did. This is a little bit detailed, but I want to walk you through it. We wrote a wish list, and we said, what do we want this system to do? We wanted, of course, the system to connect with your contacts, but not just connect with them. We wanted it to be something that would help you sort maybe a hot list or a lead, maybe a cold list of people that aren't really interested right now. Begin to sort things in relationships. We spent a lot of time talking about just that portion. We wanted it, of course, to have a shareable content library, but as you just saw, we didn't want the content to be what you'd had in the past. We wanted to start putting a user experience team together, giving you content that was for your use. The word use comes as the same as user experience. We wanted you to use it and have a positive experience. Now, you'll notice how small my list is at the top. That means I got a lot of these. And it was a problem. As it got deeper, I got more nervous. We said, we need to have a transactional product page. People need to be able to interact with those product pages, but not have to step out and go through the hedge maze of buying a product. It needed to be simplified. We wanted it to feel like an easy e-commerce experience. We all know what it feels like at Amazon. Everyone wants that. We wanted you to be able to text and social share those pages so that it was really easy to shoot somebody something and have them immediately engage in a possible transaction. Here's an interesting one. We spent time on this too, saying, well, what happens if people move around after you've shared something to them? We wanted to follow them and create what's called link attribution so that when they buy, not only do you know where they're playing inside of our digital assets, like ASEAGlobal.com, but we can make sure the volume gets attributed to the right people. That was hard. We wanted it to not only have push notifications, which you've had in other systems in the past. What if these push notifications were integrated in real time for what the customer was doing with this killer content? Now, here's what happened. About halfway through this list, I started getting really heavy-hearted. Now remember, this was our wish list. I'd love to tell you we were able to do all of this, but when we were writing this up, I was like, are we really going to be able to even pull this off? I started getting concerned. We wanted it to be back-end connected. By back-end, I mean it would be connected to the VO. It would be integrated with the virtual back office that you guys are in all the time. We've never had anything like that, and that was nerve-wracking to think about. Every other partner we've had has been an outside vendor with any kind of system, and we wouldn't let them integrate with our data. We were worried about that. We wanted it to have in-app messaging. We wanted you to not have to jump across 10 different messaging platforms, WhatsApp, normal texting, WeChat, whatever you were using. We said, what if we had our own ability for you to message your entire team? Everybody knows that a certain piece of content that someone searches on Google, you can, or any other way, you can get analytics. You can see how many people are engaging with a certain piece of content. And we said, we need to empower our teams so if they start to combine content, they have the analytics to know what works. Yeah, it's just starting. We said, what if we could create a personalized website? Those of you that are doing Instagram or other social platforms know there's always a bio section and you drop a link in that bio, right? So you see link in bio a lot. We said, what if we could create a tool that gave them a personalized website? And this is really amazing, okay? Now, we said it's got to be able to scale globally. It needs next generation marketing tools. That means promo pop-ups, a chat function that people can interact with. And lastly, this was a big one. We said, we don't want to use vendors anymore. We want to own our future as it relates to technology. Now you're clapping, but this was our wish list. So will you forgive me if I give you just a few of these things? Okay, here's what happened. I asked the IT team, I said, if this was my wish list, number one, can we do this? The answer was yes, we can. With the current system, I said, how long would it take? And they said 3 to 5 years. Yeah, that's my reaction. I said, so we have the long-term capability to do it. How long will it take? The top line said, no, this is a 5-year stack. It's going to take you 5 years to build all this with our current systems. We were bummed, and we said, we're not giving up. There's got to be a way for us to do this. We started looking and searching for solutions, and nobody in the marketplace could give us even half of what we put on this list. We had a very, very fortunate intersection with a really good technologist who happened to have been hired to build out a back end and immediately recognized the need for this to integrate better at the front end for the customer. We reached out, sat down and met, and when we were done, we looked at each other and said, that's a good start on our list. and we said, would you be willing to partner with us? We told them we didn't any longer want to work with vendors. Would you be willing to collaboratively build this tool? And guess what? We did. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ASEA app.
Connected by a movement. People-powered and science-led. We are a force for good in the world, bettering people's lives at a cellular level, ultimately powering human potential, changing the world, one connection and one life at a time. Introducing the ASEA app.
DJ, would you help me? Guys, are you excited? Okay, now it's starting to get fun. So let's go back. Let's talk a little bit about the state-of-the-art delivery system. And I want to make sure we're clear on a few things here. Number one, we have never in the history of this company had anything like what I'm going to share with you ever before. But I was talking to this beautiful technology player. His name is Mike Tingey, and he's here for breakout sessions with us. And Mike and I were talking. He said, Tyler, I need to tell you something. I know this industry well. You've never had anything like this before. But he goes, by the way, no one in this industry has ever had anything like this before. And then I looked back at him with the power of we in my mind, and I said, oh yeah, and it's ours. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about this. The metaphor returns. It's an open road, and I'm adding lanes. It might be a carpool lane that I'm adding. You're going to see it, and you're going to start going, that's going to be easier, okay? I also need to tell you, and I mentioned this to our diamonds last night, this particular thing I'm talking about will be a North America, U.S. release, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But it will be, as I said a minute ago, a global tool. Everything you're seeing here, we will continue to build until it's in every market. Okay, let's get into it. We probably looked like this 10 years ago. Right? Do you see the difference? A little, yeah. This is superhighway time. Okay? Yeah. Do you want to answer this question? Okay, I'm going to show you a quick video that gives you a little vibe on it, and then I'm going to take you through some real-life interactivity of how this app's going to work. Let's roll the video, and then I'll take you through some individual examples.
Introducing the ASEA app, where every pixel powers your potential. With the ASEA app, reimagine sharing, amplify your connections, and power your business right from the palm of your hand. Groundbreaking technology where sharing becomes an experience, not just an action. From trackable links, product pages, video testimonials, and integrated contacts, share what matters most to you and feel the momentum build. Messaging evolves, turning conversations into genuine connections effortlessly. And your virtual office? Just a tap away, anytime, anywhere. Say hello to the ASEA app, your passport to next level marketing.
Okay, guys, now I want to show you some actual examples of how this will work. okay? Let's just be clear that every one of you, as you interact with a brand, in this case, it could be any brand that you've purchased from online. Is there anyone in this room that has not purchased something online? Okay. Then what I'm going to show you is an experience that happens every hour, every minute of every day. So, let's talk about some different ways this journey plays out. The first step of the journey is awareness. Someone becomes aware of a product or a brand and ultimately decides to engage in learning more about it. That engagement morphs into deeper consideration of an acquisition of a product that leads them to buy. Once they buy, they become a user, and if they have a good experience from a usage standpoint, they probably start to share it. And ultimately, for me, it's like, well, if they're sharing it, they ought to be part of our team. Does that make sense to you guys? Awareness precedes engagement. I then engage, in this case, in a piece of content. I move from engagement to deeper consideration, and guess what? I could go back the last 30 days in your life, find a purchase you've made, and put you on this You Are Here map. We do this every day now. Let's talk about some possible scenarios. Here's Nancy Neighbor. And here is Denise Cato. Give a round of applause for Denise. Denise is an actual associate. Denise and Nancy Neighbor have gone on walks together for years. Nancy Neighbor starts to feel a little achy, says, I don't have as much energy as I used to have. Kind of feel a little off. She contrasts that with Denise and says, you're springing around here all the time. You don't seem to be getting any older. And Denise says, I have a product I absolutely love. I'll share it with you. So she pulls out her phone. She zooms in on the ASEA app, clicks into the app, and says, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to drop into a share function. Now, at this precise moment, when you click into share, a whole content library that you just saw, see the middle here, middle screen? She's going to pick, in this case, a tool that speaks to ASEA redox cell signaling supplement. She selects that, and it immediately loads into her phone. Now, notice the bottom of the phone. What's she going to do now? She's going to share this link. She clicks on share of the link, and that piece of content, that very simple shareable, loads into a text message. She types in, hey Nancy, thanks for chatting today. Here's a link to for you to check out. This is the product I was talking about, ASEA redox cell signaling supplement. She hits send on the text. There it is. And now what? Nancy Neighbor opens it up and sees the text. She clicks on the shareable link, and it loads into her phone. Now, here's an interesting concept. In some time in the past, how would you ever know that she's in this situation and looking at that content? In other words, she's no longer in awareness on a walk with you. She is now engaging with a piece of your content. You would want to know about that engagement, correct? You'd want to know it in real time, correct? So what happens is you get a notification on your phone, and it says Nancy Neighbor is viewing your shareable content. Now, I like to think of it as this. If you track something that leads you to an action, right? Put those two words together. Traction. You want to get traction in your business. This is an automated tracking tool that tells you who's interacting and invites you to take another step. Now, if she's looking at this, Denise goes, right on. I see her looking at it. She opens the share function to look at her library on the middle screen here. She goes, let's send her to the landing page now where she can actually buy. So she clicks onto the tool she wants to send to, in this case, the redox cell signaling supplement product page. She loads that page into her app by selecting it. And here it is. She zooms in, and what's she going to do? She's going to share that link. And why is that relevant? What do we know about Nancy Neighbor? She's already looking at that, maybe even inside the same few minutes. We hit share the link, and it hits her phone. She says, hey, this is additional information. Nancy Neighbor then pulls it up, and guess what she can do? That moment, she is leaving engagement, and now what's she doing? She's getting serious. She's considering the product. That page is designed in consideration, as you saw, to scroll down and create all these data points that help her feel what? More confident and comfortable with a buying decision. She clicks. By the way, notice what happened to Denise's phone. If I back up, Denise, let me back into this one more time so you can see it. Watch Denise's phone on the left. She got another indication that she's at your landing page or your product page. And then she jumps right in and adds it to the cart, pulls up a single checkout, and she places an order. If she places the order, what would you expect you would see on your phone? A notification that says, hey, guess what? She just bought product from you. Now, remember my big list of wish list? That wish list included it had to integrate to the VO. This can't just be some outside purchase. How would you get paid? How would the volume attribute? All of this is integrated with our VO. Everything that's happening on your phone is integrating. Now, what's happened? She purchased, so where do we know she's gone? She's moved along the journey, and we know she's probably purchased. What's next? I now have a notification of that purchase. I have a clear indication she's buying. She's going to move into usage. And who's to say, as all of us know, she's not going to have a wonderful product experience, which you can't sell 31 million bottles of this stuff and not have good product experiences. She becomes a sharer. You're going to be able to see and understand that sharing activity. And then guess what? We invite her into the family, and she's now an associate with us. You dig that? Okay, let's talk about Betty Book Club for a minute. Betty Book Club is a good friend of our beloved Aaron Latham. Let's hear it for Aaron. Aaron has been going to book club for a long time with Betty, and Betty looks across the table at book club and says, what on earth are you doing with your hair and your nails? They look amazing. You look amazing. They start to talk about Redox Radiance. Aaron mentions how much she loves the product, and they get deep enough into the process that Betty's just basically saying, I'm all in, send it to me, I'm going to buy it. In that moment, she's already started the journey at consideration. She's beyond awareness. She's had a personal interaction with Aaron. Aaron's told her, you need this product, and she says, send it, I'm buying it, done, sold. What's Aaron going to do? She's going to pull out her phone. She's going to zoom into the share function. And in this instance, she's going to pull up the content and select the Redox Radiance landing page. She loads that page in, and what's she going to do? She's going to one-click share that link. Just like the last example, that loads into a text message. And she's able to say, hey, here's the collagen product we talked about at book club. Have a look. Betty Book Club clearly gets the text. Here's the collagen product. She goes, yay, I'm excited about it. She then interacts with it, hits the landing or product page, and even goes so far as adding it to her cart. Now, what do you think is going to happen to Aaron's phone when someone adds a product to a cart? We're going to get a notification of that. And in real time, remember, tracking plus activity equals traction. Aaron sees that activity. She's stoked. Hey, she's in the buying cycle, right? But then a little bit later, she gets a new notification. Can you read that one? Abandoned shopping cart. For some reason, our customer, Betty Book Club, added a product to a cart, but pulled out. So she sees that notification, and Aaron pulls up a text message. Hey, Betty, do you have any more questions about Redox Radiance? Betty replies and says, you know what? I totally forgot. Thanks for the reminder. I'm ordering now. Jumps on, places the order. That order happens and shows up in your phone. You dig that? Now, at that point, you get notice that she purchased. Aaron sends her a note. Hey, I just saw you purchased. I'm stoked you're doing this. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm certainly here every single step of the way. Can you see this? All of this is integrated with the VO. All of this is pulling this new content that we've been working really hard on for the last year plus, but it's all part of a strategy we've been talking about for 3 years. This is a big deal. Now, in this instance, we know that Betty's traveled along the journey. We saw that she placed the order. And that purchase behavior obviously is creating a new inventory of potential associates, but at worst or best, a new customer. And we'll take those all day. Do you agree? Do you like customers? Me too. Okay, so those are both examples of a one-to-one interaction. And some of you enjoy social media. I am not one of them that enjoys it. You know that about me. But if I were out building my business with you, that's a tool I would definitely leverage the way you do. If she moves into usage, I'm going to come back to her in just a minute and show you how Betty continues down this journey in just a second. But I'd like to pivot now to this version, which is one to many. How do I share something now, not just to Betty Book Club or Nancy Neighbor? How do I share something out to super groups of followers in social media? Well, here's Danielle Matthews. Danielle is engaged in social media and does it well. Do you agree? I love Danielle's spirit and what she does for this company. She's a huge part of our heart and ethos. She says, you know what? I've got enough followers out there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a piece of content to drive awareness on what I believe in. Now, she's posting videos on what it's doing for her. She's sharing things in her feed. But in this instance, she pulls up this same content library. And guess what? She can post any of this to social media. That's why we're designing shareables. We're calling these social shareables. They're quick pieces. You can go ahead and post. And in her instance, she can drop these posts into Facebook or Instagram and immediately promote potential engagement. Now, what happens in that environment when people engage with your feed or your posts and they start to get a feel for who you are? They're following you. They dig the way you talk. They dig the way you say things or do things. Sometimes they'll pivot and they'll say, I want to know more about this person. They'll drop into the bio. You guys are with me? And then they'll check a link in that bio and they'll say, I want to know more about Danielle Matthews. Well, what if you had a tool that could create a personalized link that you could drop into your social media bios? Literally a tool that promotes the engagement at a totally different level. Let me show you what I mean. In this instance, Danielle could pull up her own, inside of our app, her own personalized link. In this link, she can put anything she wants. Her favorite book, she could put the product landing pages, she can put whatever she wants. This replaces Linktree, and this becomes your link in bio. Now, you know what else is cool about this? We've created customization and personalization of this. Let's say you want this to be super ASEA front. You can choose inside the app. You can go in and say, I want to build one that's super ASEA in the front, or I want one that's more organic and allows me to be a little bit less brand-centered and more about who I am as a person. These customizable, personal, we call them My Sites. These personal My Sites now allow you to put a link in your bio of your social media pages, but you can also share this as a link in a text. And somebody wants to know more and say, I'm going to send this out to you. Now, I can't go into the detail of how incredible how all of this will work. You're going to not want to miss breakout sessions on this, because the breakout sessions will include the core technologists that built this with us, Mike Tingey, as well as Tammy, and they'll be taking you through the nuances of how this works. What do you notice at the bottom of each one of these My Sites? There's a web chat function. And at the time that someone engages with this, now remember, she posted something out to social media. Somebody was intrigued or curious about her post, went to her bio and clicked on her link. And immediately when they click on the link, within a matter of seconds, a pop-up web chat comes up and says, hey, this is Danielle. Any questions? Shoot me a text. At that moment, right, we've moved somebody through this customer journey. They're starting to engage and consider with us at a different level, especially if they respond to the text. Now, in this moment of consideration, think about the idea of sending a single shareable out to your following. And by the way, I presume most of you in this room are on Facebook or have an Instagram account. You don't have to be a huge influencer to take full advantage of this. In your stories on those platforms, you can take, maybe within some certain degree of consistency, a piece of social media and share it out in your stories and allow people to interact. If those people begin to interact, what do we know? We're going to be able to see the activity. Now, do we know the people? Not yet. They're just followers. But I can see a visitor with this number it'll assign purchased Redox Clay Mask. Another near Pleasant Grove, Utah, was visiting your page. You're seeing activity. Now marry that activity with this chat function, and now your prospecting goes to lead gen, and you're pulling in leads from people that are your followers, but that are now interacting. You see the power? In this instance, you've got people buying products from you that you don't know, but who are your followers, who love the way you're positioning the products on your stories, but also love the way you're curating and building content for them in other areas. It's pretty cool. That purchase ultimately treats you like a new customer acquisition and creates an opportunity for you to continue leaning into social one-to-many posts. Okay. Now let's go back to Betty Book Club, and then I'm going to wrap this up, and we're going to do an interesting part of the morning. Betty Book Club comes back to Book Club 3 or 4 months later. She's been using the products, and she's in love with them. Erin starts to see that she's natural at sharing, right? And says, Betty, you realize you could get this product paid for. Like, you're sharing this a lot, because she sees and says, yeah, my mom's using it, and my sister loves it, and I love how I feel, and so when I went back and I bought something else, well, what's Erin going to do at that point? She's going to say, you know, you're a natural at this. Have you ever thought about this? She's going to open up the media library. She's going to select the business opportunity page that I showed to you. Remember? A whole outline that she can work with that speaks about the business opportunity for an associate. And just like we've done now several times, she'll share that link. That link will go out to Betty Book Club. Betty will interact with that link, will know that she has, and ultimately you can enroll right from that app. Right from that text and that link, she can go right into the new enrollment flows and join the organization, or you can reach out and walk her through it, however you choose to do that. Ultimately, we've taken a customer, and now she's actually an associate. Pretty cool. Okay, 2 associates now. Guys, what do you think? Does it feel like this? Can it get easier to travel on this highway? Okay, I want to reiterate something. We've never had anything like this before. And by the way, no one in this industry has ever had anything like this before, and it's ours. How about this? You guys want to see a live demo of how this works? By the way, what if those are all just Photoshop images and there's no app? Right? That would be quite a trick. I want you to see it in real life. And in order to do that, would you please welcome to the stage Frank Santoyo, our Senior Vice President of Business Development. Frank, come on out.